Hello, everyone. It's Mr. Knox, and today we're going to talk about the central idea. The central idea of a text is something that is one of the most important things to know when you're reading because, as we'll see in a couple minutes, it's what the author is trying to tell you about the topic in this text. It's also important because it's an entire standard from the Florida standards, the standards that make up the FSA questions that we'll do in April and May. So let's go ahead and take a look. And it's Informational Text Standard 2. And 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, very similar, just a few key differences that we'll get into. 6th grade, determine a central idea of a text and how it's conveyed through particular details. Provide a summary of the text distinct from personal opinions or judgments. 7th grade, determine two or more central ideas in a text and analyze their development over the course of the text. Provide an objective summary of the text. And then finally, 8th grade, determine a central idea of a text and analyze its development over the course of the text, including its relationship to supporting ideas. Provide an objective summary of the text. Let's go ahead and break those down by grade level. That's a lot to see. So 6th grade. First, the standard is asking us to determine a central idea of a text. It's also asking us to determine how it is conveyed through particular details. Now, to convey means to show. So how is the author showing us what the central idea is using certain details? The standard is also asking us to provide a summary of the text distinct from personal opinions or judgments. Now, a summary of the text, you all know what that is. You're basically retelling in your own words the most important parts of that article, story, whatever. But a good summary, according to the Florida standards, is a summary that does not have your own opinions or judgments. This is what the author is telling you. You as the reader are now writing, as the writer, what the author was telling you. 7th grade, pretty similar, except we're now determining two or more central ideas in a text. Now, there's always going to be one main central idea, but we're going to see that throughout the text, there could be several smaller pieces that have their own central idea. Still going to analyze the development of the central ideas and providing an objective summary of the text. This is the same as a summary without opinions or judgments. That's what objective means. 8th grade, determining a central idea of the text and analyzing the development of the central idea over the course of the text, same as earlier before, but now we have to analyze this central idea's relationship to the supporting ideas or supporting details. And of course, we must also provide an objective summary of the text. So that's fine, but what is the central idea? We've talked about this in class, and most of you were quick to say central idea is the same thing as the main idea. So the main idea is the central idea, and vice versa. We're going to use the term central idea because that's the term that's in the standards, and that's the term that you're going to see on the FSA. So the central idea is the point that the author is trying to make regarding what this article is about. So you may have seen this in one of your classes before, and that's that the main idea, or the central idea, is the topic or what the article is about and the point that the author is trying to make. And of course, examples and details support or prove the point that the author is trying to make. And we use that color coding system of blue for the topic, red for the point, and green for the evidence. And when you're writing, you're going to also want to have your elaboration, very important, that connects the evidence to the topic and point. That'll be in black, by the way. So topic plus the point about that topic equals your central idea. Now, a great way to figure out what the central idea of an entire text is something called article mapping. In an article mapping, we're going to break the text down into manageable chunks. We're going to look at paragraphs or groups of paragraphs, sections. We're going to be on the lookout for subtitles or section headings, because if the author has already provided us a breakdown of different sections, we're going to go ahead and use those. So then once we have our individual sections, we find the central idea of each part and then put it all together to see what is the central idea of the whole article. So first things first, we need to know the topic. What is the text all about? And the topic is different from the central idea. It's one part of it. The topic is a word or a phrase that comes to mind when you think about the article. What is the text all about? It's a really good idea to look to the title for an idea on what the topic might be. Oftentimes, not every time, but oftentimes, the topic will be right there as a word or phrase inside of the title. So that's the topic. Now, what is the author trying to tell you about that topic? What's the author trying to tell you about that topic in each individual section? And what's the author trying to tell you about that topic in the entire text? So let's go ahead and try article mapping. And we're going to use an article that is from Newsela, however you want to pronounce that. And it's called "Thanks to Extras, Fortnite is the highest earning free video game." It's a Newsela article from August 24th, 2018. And it's a little bit lower than what we would expect from a 6th, 7th, or 8th grade text. It's 860 Lexile. But I figured we'd go ahead and start with something a little easier, and then with more practice, we'll try it on grade level text. Just a heads up that your FSA text could be anywhere in the 900s, 1,000, 1,100 range when it comes to Lexile. Obviously, the 8th graders will have higher Lexile passages than the 6th graders. Also, the amount of words, right here we're looking at a just about 700 word article. That's right on target for what we'll see on the test. It could be anywhere from 300 to 1,100 words. So now we are in our article. Thanks to Extras, Fortnite is the highest earning free video game. And we see that we have all 692 words here. Looks like it has some section headings or subtitles available to us. So let's go ahead and find out the section headings. If this was on print, I would go ahead and number the paragraphs. But since I'm on the computer, we're just going to look at each section as a whole. First off, it looks like we have an introductory section. It doesn't have a title, but it's definitely an introduction. And then the second section is players spend money on skins. So far we have 2 sections. Then Fortnite fans are hooked, the 3rd section. And spending money on the game is worth it, the 4th and final section. What we are going to do is we're going to find the central idea, the topic plus the point of each of these 4 sections. Then we're going to put it together and find the central idea of the entire article. Now, I have these graphic organizers that will help us to map an article. And each one's different just based on how many sections we want to break it up into. Now, we have 4 sections, so we're going to go for one that has 4 sets of boxes like this. This first one has 2. We could, for an article that has only 2 sections. And then we have one for 3 sections, 4 sections, which I've already started, and one for 5 sections. So let's stick with our 4 section map here. And right up here, we're going to see where we will put our central idea of the entire article right here in this top box. Then in each one of these lighter blue boxes, we'll put the central idea of each individual section. And then as we go, we'll also put some of the supporting details and evidence in these green boxes here. So let's go ahead and start reading. Thanks to extras, Fortnite is the highest earning free video game. I don't know about you, but I can already tell that the topic is most likely going to be Fortnite. Fortnite player Brendan Hickey wanted his character in the online game to stand out. Hickey bought features in the video game. His character can now eat popcorn, dribble a basketball, and swing an axe. Does any of this help him jump to the next level or have an advantage in fighting his opponents? Nope. Hickey says he has spent about $140 to $160 on Fortnite purchases since October. They set him apart and help him connect with friends who play, he says. It's the first time we've all been excited to get on and play Xbox together, says Hickey, who is 22 years old. Playing the game is like going out to eat together, he says. Fortnite has 125 million players. They have made Fortnite the highest earning free-to-play game ever. All kinds of people, from athletes and celebrities to school-age kids, play each day. Many spend money to customize their characters. Now let's look at what this section of the article is trying to tell us. Obviously, it's talking about Fortnite. We know now that Fortnite is a game, and it's a game where you can buy stuff. You can buy add-ons. It's for free, but we're seeing that you can buy different skins or the ability to eat popcorn, dribble a basketball, swing an axe. I don't get it, but I guess it's popular. Anyways, let's go ahead and start. Fortnite is a game in which you can buy add-ons. If we want to color code this, we'll go ahead and make our topic in blue, and we'll make the point that the author is trying to tell us in red. Of course, our evidence will be in green. So now we go back to the article and we say, all right, are we sure that is what the point of that section was? And this is where it gets tricky, because there's a lot of stuff that's being told to us in this section. Is the main idea, or the central idea, that Fortnite's a game in which you can buy add-ons. And we just see if that is a common point that is being made throughout the section. Okay, we know that Fortnite is a video game, and we know that you can buy things. Here's an example. They use a specific example of a certain player, Brendan Hickey. He bought features in the video game. And then it mentions several different things that he could purchase. It mentions here that he has spent a certain amount of money on Fortnite purchases. And we know that it's still talking about the things that you can buy because they're talking about how much money it earns. It's the highest earning free-to-play game ever. And it's the highest earning because all of these people are buying these add-ons. And here we go again. It says many spend money to customize their characters. And I would say many what? Go to the sentence before. Many kinds of people, athletes, celebrities, and even kids. Many of them are spending money to customize their characters. So, okay, we can go back to our article map. And let's just use one of those examples. And we'll use the example that Brendan Hickey, spends about $140 to $160 Fortnite purchases since October. Read that sentence. I have to make this spent in the past tense. Hickey spent about $140 to $160 on Fortnite purchases since October. And then we can also include the piece of evidence that says many spend money to customize their characters. I have to make that a little smaller. This is a direct quote that many spend money to customize their characters. So if I were to include this, I'm thinking down the road to our writing test, I would want to make sure I use my quotation marks and that I'm citing the source. We'll talk about source citation later. Moving on to the second section, players spend money on skins. I'd like you to read this, and you can go ahead and pause the video, and then when you're done reading the section, go ahead and press play again. I scroll down a little bit so that you can see the last two paragraphs here that weren't visible before. Go ahead and finish reading that, and then press play when you're ready to continue. Okay, after reading the section, players spend money on skins, I want to point out that often we can find the direction that the author is going with this article or with this section in the first sentence. So let's look at this first sentence. In May, the game brought $318 million in earnings for Epic Games, says SuperData Research. Okay, wow, $318 million in 1 month alone. That's a huge number. That's Powerball money. And that's in 1 month. I can't even begin to think about what I would do with that much money. And I can't imagine how many people needed to buy a whole bunch of stuff for them to rake in $318 million a month. So that's a huge number. Definitely something that catches my eye. It also goes on to say that Fortnite beat out other games such as EA's FIFA 18 and Call of Duty World War II. Those are games that also charge for downloads and in-game purchases. So there's a lot going on with video games that are charging money these days, and I guess Electronic Arts has really gotten in trouble with fans because of how much money they're being taken for, But Fortnite is a game where they're making even more money than these other big name games like FIFA and Call of Duty. So if we scroll down a little bit more, we see that here's another statistic. I love looking at these numbers because they put them in there for a reason, and it usually gives us information that is really important to see. In a study of 1,000 Fortnite players by this group, Lind EDU, almost 7 in 10 made in-game purchases. 7 in 10, that is a number, that is a statistic showing that 70% of all the gamers that play Fortnite have made purchases. That's a lot. 70% of any group is a lot. Think of our class of 20, okay? 70% would be 14 of the 20. That's a pretty good majority. So right now I'm seeing that Fortnite brought in $318 million in 1 month. It's bigger than all of these other pay-to-play games. And it's very widespread. In fact, 70% of the players have made purchases. So let's take that information back here. I'm going to go ahead and start with the evidence this time. Right, that in May, Fortnite brought in $318 million in earnings. Huge. Also, let's go ahead and throw in that other statistic in here. And this time we won't do a direct quote because 7 out of 10 is a good statistic, but we can demonstrate it by using a percentage instead. 70% of players made in-game purchases. So this section to me looks like it's talking about a different aspect in Fortnite. Not just that you can buy add-ons, but that they have made a lot of money because so many of the players have bought add-ons. Looks like I need to change my color and my font size. Okay. Now we're talking. So to review so far, we have Fortnite's a game in which you can buy add-ons. Fortnite has made a lot of money because so many players buy add-ons. And we have 2 more sections left. Fortnite fans are hooked. Okay, from the title of this section, I can already tell that it's going to be less about the money. It's going to be more about the fans, more about the players. With Fortnite, players don't improve at fighting their opponents by getting a new outfit or better weapons. That has only increased the appeal of the game. Fortnite has become a national craze. It has frustrated some teachers who say students have been sneaky. They've tried to play Fortnite during class. I know that would never happen at Madeira Beach. Players can buy dance moves. Some have become such a hit that they're showing up at sporting events. At the recent baseball all-star game, several players spoke of their love of the video game. One commercial showed them doing their favorite dances. For some players, buying a skin is a way to show appreciation. They want to thank Epic Games for making the game free. Shayna Wilcox is 33 years old and lives in Jacksonville, Florida. She posts her Fortnite activities on YouTube. Wilcox has spent only $30 on the game. She was never a big player of shooting games, yet has enjoyed playing Fortnite. Okay, so again, this isn't so much about the money. This is more about the players themselves, the fans. Obviously, it's not talking about the money so much because when it does mention the money, it's only $30. It's not the $150 that we saw in the previous sections. So let's look at the fans. If this is about the fans, what is the author telling us about the fans? Well, obviously they're hooked. They're hooked. That means that they're addicted to it, right? We also see that in the vocabulary such as a national craze. Helps if I highlight the entire word. A national craze. Okay? And we see that it is not just one portion of the population that's playing, okay? We have players at the MLB All-Star Game. We have baseball players, professional, multi-million-dollar baseball players that are talking about Fortnite on TV. We have 33-year-old women. We have kids who are playing it during class, God forbid. We have a bunch of different groups of people here in this section, and they're all hooked on Fortnite. So we're going to go back to our map, and we're going to say that Fortnite, many people who are addicted to it. I don't really like the way that I worded that sentence, so there's nothing that says that we have to have our topic at the beginning here. So let's try it another way. Fortnite has many people who are addicted to it. How about many people are addicted to Fortnite? That blue. I feel like Bob Ross here. Phthalo blue. Crimson red. So there you go. You have your topic at the end and the point that the author is making at the beginning. Evidence that goes along with that. These are those supporting details that the standard is talking about. Some kids are playing in school. If you're playing during school time, you must be addicted. If it's all you talk about, you must be addicted. If you show up to play at a baseball game and you're doing your dance moves, you must be addicted. Let's throw that one in. MLB players talked about their love of the video game. MLB All-Star Game. All right, the last section, section number 4. Spending money on the game is worth it. Wilcox bought an Easter Bunny skin. Now this is talking about Shayna Wilcox up here. Wilcox bought an Easter Bunny skin, partly because it was really cute. She also wanted to show that she appreciates the game. I have so much fun playing that I was like, okay, the least I can do is buy a skin. Buying outfits and dances can cost $5 for a starting bundle, to $20 for a skin. Players say spending is worthwhile. I'm going to let you go ahead and read about Cody Sipe down to the end of the section here. Go ahead and press pause and then press play when you're done reading. Okay, again, we're going to look at that first sentence to see what this part of the section is all about. Shayna Wilcox bought an Easter Bunny skin partly because it was really cute. Okay, so it's telling us why she bought this Easter Bunny skin. It's really cute. She also wanted to show that she appreciates the game. Then she goes on to talk about, well, if she's having so much fun playing this free game, at least she can spend a little bit of money and buy an Easter Bunny skin. But then, did you notice how I let you read about Cody? Cody is 24 years old, and his brothers are all across the U.S. One's going to college in Florida, hopefully UF. The other one is doing military training in California, and he's in Virginia. So they play Fortnite and buy skins to connect with each other, even though they're 3,000 miles apart. And they buy money to see they use money to buy skins to see who has the best looking outfit. So if we go here, we can start saying that Shayna Wilcox, that's one specific example again, buys add-ons because she wants to show she appreciates the game. And then Cody Sipe says to connect with his younger brothers. Now, what are we looking at here? Shayna buys add-ons because, well, the one was cute and to show that she appreciates the game. And Cody does it for a totally different reason, to connect with his younger brothers. They're doing it for two different reasons, but they're doing the same thing. I think we found what our topic is and what the idea is here. We're going to go ahead and say that many people buy skins on Fortnite for various different reasons. That fit. And let's go ahead and make that blue again. Okay, we have now found the central idea of each of those four sections. Let's review them. Fortnite is a game in which you can buy add-ons. Fortnite has made a lot of money because so many players buy add-ons. Many people are addicted to Fortnite, and many people buy skins on Fortnite for various different reasons. Our job is now to see what the entire article is about using those four sections. And what we can try and do is combine as many of those individual central ideas into one sentence. And if we can do that and it makes sense, and then we ask ourselves, is this what the author is trying to tell us about Fortnite? Then we have our central idea. So let's try. Fortnite, red, is a game in which you can buy add-ons, but it's also made a lot of money because of those add-ons. So let's say Fortnite has made a lot of money thanks to many fans buying add-ons, period. We now have two of those section ideas as part of our whole central idea. We have section 1 and section 2. So we look and see if we can incorporate section 3 and 4. Many people are addicted to Fortnite, and many people buy skins on Fortnite for various different reasons. So we need to include the fact that they're addicted, and they do this for different reasons. Going back up here, Fortnite has made a lot of money thanks to many fans. Let's go ahead and say many addicted fans buying add-ons. Buy skins on Fortnite for various different reasons. Okay, buying add-ons for various different reasons. Now we have all four of our sections represented in this central idea of the whole. Let's read it again and see if that's what the author is trying to tell us about Fortnite. Fortnite has made a lot of money thanks to many addicted fans buying add-ons for various different reasons. Perfect. That is the central idea of the entire text. It's all about how a lot of these fans who are hooked or addicted are buying add-ons and spending a lot of money doing it. Now, the good thing about doing this article map is you already have evidence. Okay, you already have evidence. This is an excellent step for a planning sheet if you were to write an essay using this and a couple other sources. All right. And you already are getting into the other parts of the standard, including the development of the ideas. We can look at this and say, how does the author develop this idea that a lot of people are buying add-ons and they're spending a lot of money? Well, you have specific examples. You have Mr. Brendan Hickey, you have Shana Wilcox and Cody Sipe, 3 different specific people that talk about how they've bought add-ons and why they do it. You also have statistics, okay? The central idea is developed through statistics. For example, we have in May, Fortnite brought in $318 million. That is an amount of money for 1 month. You also have the fact that 70% of the players are making purchases. These are all different ways that the central idea is developed. So, I hope that this is helpful. I know it takes a lot of time, but the more you do it, the more practice you do with it, the more natural it will be for you, and you won't have to write it all out. Okay, so at the beginning of the year here especially, I'm going to insist that you do this article mapping to find the central idea. Every article. But with time, we can take ourselves away from this graphic organizer. We won't need it because it'll be something that we do in our heads automatically. So I hope this made sense for you. We're going to practice it more in class and for homework. And we'll see how we do on our first independent summative assessment on central idea. All right. Have a great afternoon, a great weekend whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you back in class.